Without me interrupting, there's just so much evidence. You're talking about rogue networks, all the fingerprints, the classic MO, the signature, the wavelength, the smell, the red-handedness, then the media hype, the motive, the new initiative. Oh, we've all got to have body scanners. Just so many initiatives they're launching with this. It's just like with the flu inoculations. We saw all that hype. And now we have the memos that it was all hype. Clearly a staged event. What is the goal? Continue.
Well, the Rogue Network, of course, is a private network that cuts across the various agencies and executive departments of the U.S. and other governments. Big British role is quite big. So it's the City of London and Wall Street controlling this network with their ideas of strategy. Let me just point out a couple of other things here. We're told that this alleged bomber, right, Knicker bomber, whatever they call him, he was in contact with this character Awlaki in Yemen. And, of course, this Awlaki, I call him Awlaki the CIA lackey. Awlaki the lackey, and remember, he's a CIA lackey. He's a double agent, a triple agent, if you want. He is used as a kind of beacon to recruit patsies across the world, and they can always sheep dip somebody like Major Hassan. If they want to say, you're linked to Al-Qaeda, they just have you exchange a few emails with this Awlaki, and that's what he's good for, right? He goes back to 9/11 and Hani Hanjour and Toronto.
He's like Hal Turner was to the white supremacist who I said for a decade was FBI, and now it's Chicago Tribune, Associated Press, that he's FBI, deep cover, controlling everything. And, I mean, obviously he was FBI. Same thing with Awlaki.
Right, exactly. So this guy is he's a U.S. agent under whatever layers of garb that he's got. The other thing is, how was this young patsy, Omar Farouk Mutalab, how was he radicalized? And I think we're getting some pretty good indications that it's this Brixton Mosque, Finsbury Mosque axis in London, the school for patsies, the British patsy.
Which, by the way, 6 months ago, I remember it, you predicted we'd see plane bombings out of that mosque.
Yeah, well, again, this is not so hard to do. Remember, Richard Reed, mentally retarded vagrant who was sleeping on the floor of Brixton Mosque, I think, or Finsbury, one or the other. He was given the same PETN explosive by somebody. So that's what this Omar Farouk was given then, allegedly, once again in Yemen. So you can see it fits together, and it all comes from these same places. Now again, why Yemen? We have to remember that, then this gets us into the big picture. Saudi Arabia is, of course, a crucial pillar of the Anglo-American world empire. And we've seen in the course of this year strong what we can call centripetal tendencies. In other words, desire by various people in Saudi Arabia to get out from under this U.S. protectorate. And the form that it took around August, I think, was Prince Bandar, of all people, Bandar Bush, yes, changing his strategic orientation and becoming the great friend of Putin and Russia, trying to bring in Russia and I would think China to try to redress the balance and gain some national independence for Saudi Arabia, not to be tied to the U.S., especially at a time when the U.S. is undoubtedly preparing some kind of a people power coup or velvet revolution inside Saudi Arabia.
And so where's Bandar? Oh, from The Godfather, you won't see him no more. He's now been disappeared.
Yeah, he's under house arrest, or maybe you know more, but I haven't seen anything about him since about August. But there is a big fight about the royal succession, and that is very prominent in Middle East news organs. Now, Yemen. The short thing on Yemen is this is a very, very poor country, and they had a whole colonial history with the British, right? Aden, back in the 60s, was a big colonial anti-British guerrilla warfare going on. Right now, though, it's a government that is Sunni in its composition and allied to Saudi Arabia. So that's the central government in Sana'a under President Saleh of Yemen. But there is this rebellion going, the Houthi rebels, who are Shiites, and they are backed by Iran. And we've had the U.S. bombing this twice in the past month or so, fairly large-scale stuff, either with these drones or with warplanes. Now, here's the big thing. The U.S. is busily building up Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda, the CIA Muslim Legion, is being actively built up by the U.S. inside Yemen to make that civil war much worse and to get the Saudis and the Iranians at each other's throats, maybe at war, in Yemen.
All right, let's talk about where you think that's going, the wider geopolitical reasons for this in the grand strategy. Let's go into the mind of Zbigniew Brzezinski when we get back.